So this video will be going over some calming techniques that you can utilize within multiple different scenarios. And so one thing that I would also suggest or provide kind of some examples of is the big versus little problem. And so once you kind of get a child calmed and allow them to be more in that executive state, where they are able to problem solve and communicate with you over their survival or emotional state, then you can discuss the differences between a big or little problem. So, for example, a kiddo that I worked with, we were using this as a way to discuss a scenario that had happened at a soccer game. And one of the situations was that a kid had stolen the ball from him, and he had gotten very upset by this and ran off. And it was just not necessarily a good way of responding to the situation. And so we went through multiple different things of, is this big or is this little? And it's helpful to kind of explain, like, you could say, well, your friend stole your toy. Is this a big problem or is this a little problem? And that would be considered a little problem. A big problem would be you fell and you're bleeding. That would be more so of a big problem type thing. And just helping a child understand the difference between the two can be really helpful. So, some calming techniques. I'm going to do some different ones in movement just through the different senses, honestly. So, movement, you can use a fidget toy with your hand, something that they can just play with in their hands that isn't necessarily a distraction to them. You can take a walk, which allows them just a second to breathe, take a second to relax. And these are things that as adults, like I know for myself, when I'm overstimulated or I'm stressed out, going for a walk is super helpful for me to just kind of bring myself back into a calm state. Hugs or deep pressure. And so, a lot of the times with kiddos, I will take their arms and just provide deep pressure down their arms like this. Or you can take their hands and just hold their hands really, really tight. Or you can just hug them nice and really, really tight. A lot of the times it will depend on the child. Sometimes they really love this, sometimes they don't. A lot of these information and suggestions that I'm making, it's very much based on what a child likes, and it's a very much a trial and error type of situation. You can also wrap them tightly in a blanket, or you can do wall push-ups. That's just more of a big movement calming technique. Doing also like carrying heavy items and things like that, pushing a heavy item across the floor. Those are just big movement breaks that allow some calming within their sensory systems. Or you can rock back and forth. That just kind of provides input through their vestibular system that can be really calming as well. So some examples that you can do for like hearing and listening, you can put headphones or earplugs in if a kid is overstimulated by too much noise. You can listen to calming music, or you can find a quiet place that allows them to just calm and bring themselves back to a center that they can re-engage. With sight, you can close your eyes, you can dim the lights, or you can just decrease visual clutter. And what that means is, with visual clutter, is if you have too much out in front of you, that can be very overstimulating because of the fact that it feels like there's so much that you almost kind of have to do. So by taking away some of the different things, it allows them be able to focus on just one thing. And then you can do smell, so breathing some fresh air, or taking deep breaths. And then taste would be blowing out frustrations, and then chewing on things that like are chewy or a fidget, that allows them to kind of have that input, that the oral input that they may be seeking.